All right. So we got this 96 Impala. We've done a ton of work to it. This car actually came all the way from California. Well, the owner moved from LA to Georgia, and it's funny, when he first heard about me, or when he first was looking to get his car worked on, somebody referred him to me, but he was still in California at the time. Then he ended up moving out here and being 20 minutes from the shop. So as soon as he touched down, he came by. Super cool dude. He dropped the car off. We've had it for about 2 weeks now. We've done a couple things to it. Put some new headers on it, so we got some nice BBK. These are the only shorty headers that I recommend for these cars. They don't, the hookers and the elder box, they come up really high. I hate them. I call them fire starters. Every car, if you look, ask Ivan about the fire starters. All the cars that he gets where it's like a bunch of engine bay fires, it's usually those. So these are the best ones. They're ceramic coated, super clean. We changed his valve covers so he could put a bigger alternator on it. Still got that small one, but the valve covers he had were too tall, and they don't have that relief for a bigger alternator. Well, whatever the factory alternator is for this car. But I mean, it's a clean 96, man. I mean, it's here. I always flip people's license plates. I don't care about people seeing my license plate. I think it's dumb, but I don't know how some people feel about it. So let's flip it down. But it's a clean 96 DGGM. I mean, she just needs some paint. Just over 100,000 miles, pretty low miles. Rides really nice. Sounds really good. So kind of show you what we're working on here with this thing. So we're going with the Detail SS double din kit. I've been installing probably the last 3 or 4 cars I've done this kit. Sean reached out to me and set me up with like 3 kits, and I've been using them. This one the customer actually brought with him. He bought it from another customer of mine who changed his mind on the double din. So this video is really about doing the backup camera in these cars. It's fairly simple. This is the one that I grabbed. You can grab any of them. They all kind of do the same thing. They have different styles. So this is the style that bolts to the top of the license plate. You have some where you have to drill a hole. They have some where it's the whole license plate frame, which is what I have over there, but I ordered that one on accident. So I went back to my distributor and got this one because he's got like a Marine veteran license plate frame, so I don't want to take that off. So we're going to be using this one. Upgrading to the Pioneer double din, CarPlay, CD player, whole 9 yards. Really nice unit. It's the AVH 1550 NEX. So I already started wiring it. I pretty much got the harness and everything already done. So this one's pretty simple. This is your bypass, your park and brake bypass. This is the wire that comes with it. This is your backup camera wire. Most radios will have a separate port for the backup camera. Show you here, and that'll be the brown one. You got yellow, red, all those. The brown one is normally the backup camera. It'll say RCN, which means reverse camera in. And then most times it'll have a wire on it. That'll go to your purple and white wire on the Pioneer. Connected to the purple and white wire, that'll be your backup trigger. So I just kind of got it before I finish up. I just want to get all the wiring done. So I kind of just got it sitting in here right now, just so I can make sure everything works before I seal it up. So it runs down here. Here's the camera, and the camera is going to have normally 2 inputs on it. So you're going to have you have your video in, and then you have your power and ground connector. Sometimes it's not a connector, sometimes it's just wires, but I'll show you kind of how you hook those up. All right, so came with this extra harness. This one's going to plug in. I should probably do this in one hand, but red to red, and all this is your power and ground. So you got a red for power, black for ground, and then you have your video wire. So this is the other end of the wire that came from the radio. It's pretty much identical, so it doesn't matter which end you put. Now it may be different on your camera, but this is how it is on this one. So real simple. You plug in yellow to yellow, and this means this delivers your video signal from the backup camera into the radio. Then this is what activates the remote trigger to let the radio know that the car is in reverse. So that purple wire, which this red wire is attached to, comes out on this end. So So basically this goes to your backup camera trigger. You would connect this to your reverse lights, the positive on the reverse light. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. For demonstration's sake, I'm going to do it this way. So this is a separate power and ground, which what this will do, you can either put this red one on a switch power, or you can put it on a constant, or you could hook it up to your backup lights. There's three differences with that. So if you put it on a constant power, that means your camera will be on all the time. It will constantly have power. Now, on the screen, unless you put the car in reverse and have this wire hooked to the backup camera, your screen will be normal. And then once you put the car in reverse and it activates the remote, activates this wire, then it'll change your screen to the camera. But having this one, these two, to have the camera on all the time, which means when you're driving on the freeway or driving down the road, you can go into your radio and hit camera and the image will be there. Now, if you connect this to a remote source, which is probably your best bet, is to connect this to a remote source, so the camera only comes on when the car comes on. I wouldn't put this on a positive. I'd actually put this on something keyed ignition, so it only comes on when the car is on. The other difference you can do is you can just connect this to this one and then put these both to the backup camera, to the backup light, and which means the camera will only come on when the car is in reverse. So normally what I do is I run this to a keyed source, and then I run this separately to the backup camera, to the backup light. That way, if you're driving, you have the option of hitting the camera button on your radio and seeing behind you while you're driving without having to have the car in reverse. So I got the power probe here. I'll hook it up and kind of show you how it works. All right, so we got the ground connected here to the backup camera. Radio works. So right now, we're listening to our music, whatever. We're going to park. We're gonna go ahead and put the car in reverse. And now the camera comes on. See that? It's me on camera. Hi. So that's that. So now, if we disconnect this here, and we just give the camera, oh, that's weird. Why is it doing that? Because there's no power going to this thing. Oh, I think I have the camera set. All right. So now let's go to camera. So now the camera's not on. This is just if you're driving down the road, you hit that, turns the camera on. But as you can see, the backup trigger is not hooked up. This is just straight power to the camera, and the camera will come on that way. See that? So that's why I suggest putting it on a trigger instead of constant. Or normally you could just run it straight to the backup camera, to the backup trigger, and just have it come on when the car's in reverse. So real simple. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of this thing installed. I'll show you where to tap into the backup lights and how I run it in the back, and then we'll basically just run this wire all the way down to the back, through the trunk, up the side. That's probably the most tedious part, but we're gonna run to the trunk so that we can hook up everything in the back. All right, so yeah, gotta go in the trunk. These are the old valve covers and headers that he had on there. This is the old single din Pioneer he had. So we're doing away with all that old stuff. So this is the license plate frame I was talking about. Nice one. So basically you mount the camera there, and then we're gonna run the wire down the back here. Then we'll cut this way. I'll have to get underneath. We'll take this tail light out, and then we'll do all the hookups to this tail light. Then we'll run it through the grommet all the way through, but I'll show you that. I'm gonna turn the car around because everything else I'm gonna have to do, I need the rear end up. So it'll be easier to do it facing the other way. So it'll basically be like that, and then that's where your backup camera will be, just like that. All right, so once we get the light out, your backup light's gonna be this bottom one. So we're gonna have to find which wire on here gets 12 volts when you put the car in reverse. So I already know which wire it is. I think it's this green one. But if you don't know, or if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I did this on one of these, so I think it's the green one. But cool way to figure it out is if you have two people, you can just take a power probe back here and have somebody put the car in reverse and see which one lights up. If you're by yourself, put the car in reverse, chalk the wheel, or put the emergency brake on, and then come back here and test it, and then you can see which wire it is that gets hot. So we'll need to run a power and a ground from back here. The ground is going to be the black wire. We can tap into that back here, and then we'll just jump. I realize on this particular camera, not all of them are set up this way, but these lights come on when you put the car in reverse, or when the light when it's activated. So I'm gonna set this setup where the camera just comes on in reverse. So I will tap both red wires into the positive trigger to the camera, because what's going to happen is if I set this to a switch power, these lights will just be on all the time as you're driving down the road, and eventually it's going to burn them out. I don't think they're designed to be on 24/7, so we'll just run it straight through that way. They do make cameras that aren't like that. This is just the one that I was able to find. And then I have, like I said, I had another one I had bought, but I bought it on accident, which is this one, which is a complete license plate frame. So I may save this one and put it on my wife's truck. She's been asking for a backup camera for some time now, so I may put it on there. But let me grab my power probe. We'll put the car in reverse, and then we'll verify that the green wire is the one that gets hot when the car is in reverse. All right, backup light is on. Test light is lighting up, so we know this is a ground here, and then these two will be power. So the green wires like I thought, so we'll tap off the green wires to the main power to the camera and to the reverse signal that goes to the radio. So we'll run it through. What we need to do now is run that wire that comes from the back of radio down the side of the car, up through the back here. We'll come behind the carpet here, and then we'll come through this grommet, the same grommet that the taillight harness comes through right here. And then we'll connect it straight here, and then we'll have this wire that comes from the camera connect there, and then we'll ground it here, and then we'll be done. So this process is a little daunting. You can do it any way you want, but we need to get that wire run all the way down. So let me get that knocked out, and I'll pick it up once I get the wire out here, and we go to connect and everything. All right, so we got the wire routed down the side, up through here. We pull this piece off. It fit perfectly through here. So it goes right up through here, comes down right here, and we'll tape this up, make sure it's good. Where is it? There we go. It comes through there, comes through the grommet, and it's right here. So now we'll run this down to the camera. The wire's hanging down there. We'll connect those two, and then we'll probably end up doing, like I said, is tapping the two red wires together, and we can ground the other one to the frame or to the body or something like that. Put the car together, and be done. So let me see how far I need to go to connect these two, what extra wires we're gonna have to run, etc., etc. All right, so we got the wires run under here. So this comes from the camera. We got the one coming from the front into the camera with the backup light trigger, and then we got our positive and negative. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna tap this one off the backup camera trigger to the head unit onto this positive, and then we'll run this positive and negative up into the headlight, into the taillight harness, into the backup camera. So it'll get all its power from there. We'll zip tie this up so it's out the elements, and we'll call it done. We'll test it and then call it done. Pretty clean on this thing. So we've got QA1 stuff, sway bar, control arm, nope, stop control arms, QA1 crate, sway bar front and rear. We got some Borla cat back on the next pipe. Oh yeah, nice and clean. All right. So let's get this. Let's get some connectors so we can just tap this into here, and then just connect it at the top, and we'll be done. All right. Let's see what happens. So we got the wire plugged up in the back. We got the power and ground set on the backup light circuit. So let's see, we're on park, reverse, and nothing. So we're gonna see what the hell's going on. So maybe if we do camera, see if anything pops up. All right, so we got nothing to the camera. All right, let's see what's going on. All right, we got it figured out. The problem was on those two green wires, one of them didn't have power and the other one did. So that was all. We just switched it to the other green wire, the one closest to the outside. I already put everything back together, but it's fixed. So Bluetooth going down, doop doop, reverse, backup camera, good to go. I wonder what will happen if I... No, okay, so yeah, it only comes on with the reverse. Okay, no problem. All right, so we are good to go. Everything's hooked up. So what I'm gonna work on now is putting the trunk, putting everything back together. We'll work our way from the back, putting everything back together, all the way to the front. I still need to modify this to fit the double din. The lower dash has already been modified, painted, everything like that. It's ready to install. I just need to move the HVAC controls, cut that middle piece out, and mount the bracket. But I already painted this. This is already, double din's already installed and it's in there. That's ready to go. So let me go ahead and wrap up everything back here. Basically get the seats back in, put the trunk carpet back in, tape that wire so it doesn't hang. We'll put some zip ties at the bottom so that the wires don't hang. We'll keep them out of the elements. Put the dash back on. We'll take this thing for a drive, make sure everything is good, and be ready to go home. Actually, almost forgot to make an outro. It's all done and back together. So we got oh, damn, I left the keys and I'm about to leave for the day, but it's done. Dash is back together, everything's done, it's all ready to go. Oh, I gotta get my cord from out of there, but it's done. Backup camera works like it should, so just a quick video show you how to do that. Nothing else really going on now, so I will see y'all in the next